Yo, what is good, everyone? It's great to be back on the Mayo Media Network. My name's Griffin Swanson, and I'm here to break down the Saturday, April 17th NHL DFS slate with you. Now, there's only 6 games on this slate here. We got hockey all day tomorrow, but only 6 games on the main slate. We take a look here in the top left-hand corner. 3 of those games coming in with an implied total of 6 goals. The other 3 games there at 5.5. Take a look down here at the Vegas odds. Wild, Stars, and Hurricanes all sitting pretty nice on the money line, but should have some fun, tight games in general. Now, before we dive into my favorite line stacks and individual plays, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. For you podcast people, we got content for you as well. Head on over to the Apple Pods, check out the content there, leave a 5-star review while you're at it. And of course, I'm going to talk some prize picks with you guys. For those of you who aren't familiar with prize picks, head on over to prizepicks.com and check that out. If you haven't signed up or plan on signing up in the future, make sure you use code MMN for up to a $100 match deposit. Now, I'm going to have a couple picks for you guys here, but first, I want to explain how this works on the NHL side of things. When it comes to NHL, they're going to list out a handful of players and assign them to a fantasy score. You need to pick the over or pick the under on that fantasy score. And here's how players can rack up points. 3 points for a goal, 2 points for an assist, half a point for a shot on goal, half a point for a block shot. That's it. 4 different ways they can rack up points. Again, you need to pick the over or the under on that fantasy score. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, look, I'm new to prize picks. I don't really want to dive into the fantasy score side of things right away. That's 100% okay. Look, I'm a big prop guy myself. I love taking shot props all the time. That's what's nice about prizepicks.com. They have a number of single stats for you as well. So from a hockey perspective, they're going to have some stats for shots on goals for players, as well as some save props for goalies. Now, again, they have a number of different sports on prizepicks.com. MLB, they'll have some single stats, NBA, whatever sport you like, they likely have it. So if you want to get a little familiar with it, check out those single stats as well. So I got my eye on 2 players here from a fantasy score perspective. If you want to check out those 2 plays and see who I got my money on, head on over to the Mayo Media Network Twitter account. They're going to post those there on Saturday morning. But all right, folks, time to dive into this spreadsheet here. For starters, we're going to kick it off with my favorite line stacks here. The first one I like is that first line out of Winnipeg. We got Scheifele centering Connor and Pierre-Luc Dubois. Again, Winnipeg shuffled their lines. Those top 2 lines, we're seeing them get mixed in a bunch of different ways, but I still like the top 2 lines, and I like this first line in particular. Look, they've only played 1 game together, but they played big minutes last game, and you can see there they combined for 3 goals and 4 assists, 7 points in their first game together. They were absolutely lights out, combining for 61.8 DraftKings points. You're going to see Scheifele and Connor play on that first power play, whereas Pierre-Luc Dubois does play on the second power play, but I'm willing to justify him at that price tag of $4,200. Now, again, they've only played 1 game together, so we really don't have a whole lot to go off of, but these are 3 talented players here, and you could see that in that first game together. The chemistry is very real between Scheifele and Connor. Now we add another guy who's pretty talented in himself, Pierre-Luc Dubois on the right wing. Looked pretty comfortable there the other night. Like I said, 7 points in their first game. That's really hard to ignore. 61.8 DraftKings points. It kind of shows you the upside and ceiling that they have. If all 3 of these guys can hit 20-plus points, they're going to absolutely smash their value. Now, the next line stack that I like here is going to be that first line out of Dallas. We got Roope Hintz centering Jason Robertson and Joe Pavelski. I might like this line even slightly more than that first line out of Winnipeg. I did highlight that first line out of Winnipeg first, but I'm looking at it now going, yeah, you know what? I kind of like that Dallas line a little bit more. They've been really good together. Look, Dallas, you got 2 good ones in Roope Hintz and Jason Robertson. These are 2 young, talented studs. The future looks bright for those guys. But these 3 in general have played well together. We really just need Roope Hintz to stay healthy. He's healthy 1 game, hurt the next. But looks like he's ready to roll in this game here against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And it is a good matchup at home here against Columbus, who's allowed 3.3 goals over the past month, the 5th most in the NHL. You can see this line here years combined for 12 goals, 19 assists, 31 points in their past 10 games, so essentially averaging 3 points per game. And all three of these guys are pretty affordable here as well. They're not crazy cheap, but they're not crazy expensive. You're going to see all three of them play on that first power play, and again, a good matchup here against Columbus. So I like both of these line stacks. I think both have huge upside. Like I said, I think I prefer Dallas first line a little bit more than Winnipeg's, but either way, going to have plenty of exposure to both of these lines here. All right, now moving on down here to my favorite individual plays. We're going to kick it off with the forwards there. First being Connor McDavid. Yes, he's going to be a popular play on this slate, but I don't care. I still want exposure to him, even at this price tag here, $9,100. This dude is a human highlight reel. If you haven't had the pleasure of watching him, make sure you take some time to do so. It's just phenomenal what this guy can do on the ice. He's obviously put up huge numbers this year, leading the league in points, but let's focus in on what he's done against Winnipeg this year. They've played the Jets 6 times, and in those 6 games, he's combined for 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points, averages above 4.5 shots per game, which is translated to 23.3 DraftKings points per game in those 6 games. So yeah, McDavid essentially dominates everyone, but has seemed to have the Winnipeg Jets number this year and has played very, very well. So even though he is going to be popular, even though he's expensive, I'm definitely going to have some exposure to him in this matchup against the Jets. The next guy I got here then is Vinny Trocheck of the Carolina Hurricanes. When all is said and done with the 2021 NHL season, and we look back at the lineups that I used and the players that I had exposure to, I'd be willing to bet that my most played player is Vincent Trocheck. This dude has been awesome all season, 36 points in 33 games. He's got 4 goals, 10 assists, 14 points in his past 10. Plays on the second line, but plays on that first power play. Plays big minutes, and has racked up double-digit DraftKings points now in 7 of his past 10 games. I like the matchup here against the Nashville Predators as well. Nashville has been playing better as of late, but they didn't look very good the other night against the Carolina Hurricanes. So I'm going to go back to Vinny Trocheck here once again at $7,300. Like I said, double-digit DraftKings points in 7 of his past 10 games, and he's been a point-per-game player all season. And then we got Kevin Fiala here, the Minnesota Wild, playing on back-to-back nights against the San Jose Sharks, but I still like him at this price tag here at $6,300. Played really solid hockey as of late, kind of looking like the Kevin Fiala that we watched towards the end of last season. He's got 5 goals, 7 assists, 12 points in his past 10 games, shooting the puck like a madman, averaging 4 shots per game over his past 10, which is translated to 16 DraftKings points per game over that 10-game stretch as well. Now, he plays on the second line and that first power play, just like Vincent Trocheck, and again, just like Vinny Trocheck, he's got double-digit DraftKings points in 7 of his past 10 games. Love to target players that can consistently get you double-digit DraftKings points, which is why I'm going to be on Kevin Fiala once again in this matchup at home against the San Jose Sharks. And then we got the last forward here, Rudolph Balcers, hopefully goes under the radar. This is a guy who's starting to get more opportunity with each and every game. Just the other day, he got promoted to not only the first line, but the first power play as well. Again, playing on back-to-back nights here against the Minnesota Wild, and the Wild have been stingy at home, play very sound defensively, but Balcers here at $4,100 did catch my eye. 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points in his past 10 games, averaging about 2.5 shots per game, which is translated to 8.5 DraftKings points per game. So 2 times value. I'm always shooting for 2 times the value when it comes to NHL DFS. Balcers has been able to hit that pretty consistently here over his past 10. Now he's getting more opportunity on the first line and that first power play. So again, I like him at this price tag here, even in a tough matchup against the Minnesota Wild. Again, playing on back-to-back nights, but that shouldn't concern me. He's a pretty young guy, and the younger guys, I tend to give a little more leeway on back-to-back nights. Moving over to the defensemen here. Look, I do prefer to pay up for forwards on this slate and pay down at defense, but I think there's a lot of value at the forward position as well. You can see this little note I have off to the right-hand side. So if you want to pay up for defensemen, 100% okay with it. I just prefer to pay up for forwards myself. That being said, I do like Victor Hedman here at $6,900 at home against the Florida Panthers. He's got 39 points in 43 games this year. He's damn near a point-per-game player as a defenseman. We all know what this guy is capable of, but I love the way he's shooting the puck as of late. 37 shots in his past 10 games, essentially averaging 4 shots per game. When he's doing that, he's not only finding the back of the net and getting on the score sheet, but he's usually racking up solid DraftKings points as well. double-digit DraftKings points in 6 of his past 10 games. He has that 15, 20, 25-plus point upside, which is why he's priced so high as a defenseman. Like I said, I prefer to pay up for forwards, but if there's one guy that I would pay up for, it's going to be Victor Hedman on this slate. Next guy we got here then is Jared Spurgeon of the Minnesota Wild. Love the way he's playing here as of late, playing much better, much more efficiently on the offensive side of the puck compared to how he started the season. He kind of started the season slow, but he's got 2 goals, 5 assists, 7 points in his past 10 games, playing on that first power play, and he plays big minutes, averaging about 11 DraftKings points per game over his past 10. So again, 2 times the value here of his price tag of $4,900. Yes, playing on back-to-back nights, but I do love this matchup at home against the San Jose Sharks, who have allowed quite a few goals this year. If you wanted to, you could do a little stack there with him and Fiala, who play on that first power play, but ultimately love the way that Spurgeon's been playing as of late, especially on the offensive side of the puck, and the way he's been able to rack up DraftKings points. And then the last defenseman play here is going to be Chris Russell of the Edmonton Oilers. Like I said, I prefer to pay up for forwards most nights, and especially on this slate here. When I do that, I usually need to find defensemen in the 3K range. Chris Russell stuck out to me. Now look, he doesn't play on the power play, and that's always something that I am targeting. However, he is a penalty kill specialist, and he is not afraid to block shots. In fact, he averages about 3 block shots per game. When you block 3 shots on DraftKings, you get that 3-point bonus. Now, he also averages about 7 DraftKings points per game as well. Again, 2 times the value here of his DraftKings price tag. So he's not a guy that's going to get you huge points. He's probably capped around, let's say, 15 DraftKings points. He certainly can get you double-digit DraftKings points, and usually led by him blocking a lot of shots. So that's what you're looking for here at $3,100. Like I said, more of a dart throw, but if you're like me and like to pay up for forwards, Chris Russell makes sense. He does have double-digit DraftKings point upside, and if he does that, he's going to smash his value. And then I got a couple of goaltender options there for you. James Reimer and Andre Vasilevsky. Look, I tried to do a high and low priced option. I guess there's a $300 price difference here, but I'm just not in love with the goalie prices on this slate. But I do think these 2 guys here could rack up solid DraftKings points in their matchups. First, we got James Reimer here against the Nashville Predators at home. It very well could be Peter Mrazek. It looks like Carolina is going back and forth between Reimer and Mrazek, but just keep an eye on that. If Mrazek starts, he's $8,100 too, and I wouldn't mind playing him. You can see James Reimer there, 7-2-1 at home this year, averaging about 14.5 DraftKings points. Not phenomenal numbers, at least in terms of DraftKings points. 7-2-1 is very good, but like I said earlier, Nashville's playing some pretty good hockey as of late, so hopefully they'll shoot the puck a lot in this matchup, and the Carolina Hurricanes can still get the win, so Reimer can rack up solid DraftKings points. Carolina has been very good at home. Nashville didn't look very good the other day, but playing solid hockey in general, so that's the recipe that I'm really looking for. And then Andre Vasilevsky here, look, he's yet to lose at home this year. He's 14-0, has not lost a game at home. Yes, they don't have Stamkos in this matchup, and the Florida Panthers are pretty damn good themselves, so this could be a very low-scoring game. That's kind of what you're hoping for. Florida Panthers will definitely shoot the puck a lot, so Vasilevsky can rack up major DraftKings points, but really what I'm going off of here is the 14-0 record. He's literally yet to lose at home this year, so I'm going to continue to ride that out until he does lose. You can see there he's averaging 21.2 DraftKings points while playing at home this year. Again, really hard to ignore. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up the video for today. As always, thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch these videos. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Pat and his team at the Mayo Media Network are always posting content. You don't want to miss out on any of that. For those of you who want to sign up for Prize Picks, make sure you use code MMN for up to a $100 match deposit. It's free money. You might as well take advantage of it. But again, thank you for watching this video here today, folks. Let's have a great day. Let's have a great weekend. Win some money on this slate. I'm out of here.